LaSonic. Nothing but the best. AM only, solid state battery electric radio. Someone terminated the cord. This is such your typical cheesy dime store, 70s probably, late 60s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 40s, 50s, 30s, who knows. But it is tacky. It is plastic. It has got the simulated vinyl sides. And I dug this out of the box of radios to be repaired or resurrected, and I thought this might be kind of fun since it was so cheesy. So let's dig into this. Made in Hong Kong with the schematic. Someone cut the cord, like I said. It's a little corrody doodle. Looks like it's 6 volts. Oh boy. Ooh. Ooh, nothing but the best. Those can't be the original capacitors. Wait, this is not a good thing. That is supposed to be up there. Wow. The LaSonic might have just turned into a resurrection. Is this schematic even viable right here? LaSonic. This is a really weird combination of transistor types too. Look at this. There's a bunch of more modern silicon transistors in here. How many freaking transistors are in this thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It doesn't need 11. It needs... Let me get in here on the schematic. Okay, it says here 7 transistor. Not transistors, transistor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Maybe you don't know what a transistor symbol is on the schematic? So, impressively, they're using transistors for power supply rectifiers. I gotta say, this is the first time I've ever seen that. That is impressive. That is impressive desperation to get your transistor count up. In fact, this has no... It does have a diode. It does have a detector. So this is just your standard converter, first IF, second IF, detector, first audio, second audio. I don't know what this is. They're not using a audio output transformer, so they're using these like diodes. Anyway, that's irrelevant. This thing looks like it has been malleolated from top to bottom, and I'm sure I can figure out how that antenna goes in here. Yeah, the long coil always goes from across the tuning capacitor, and the short coil always goes from the base to the bias voltage. Okay, let's see if we can make this play. So the speaker is disconnected. What I will probably do is I will probably terminate this. I will never ever use this with headphones. So if we get that out of there, that just gives us One less thing to cause issues. These are dated 68, so yeah, whatever you want to take from that. These right here are probably what they're using for power supply rectifiers. Since they're not using audio output transformers, I'm sure they're using the silicons for the audio output. I don't even think I can read this schematic. It's very, very small. There are no values. It's just like R1, R3, R5, C1. There are no actual values, although this does look like it's all NPN transistors, which makes it kind of modern, actually, compared to a lot of the stuff I work on. What's the point of giving a schematic with no values on it? Okay, getting this thing apart is kind of kicking my ass a little bit. I can't figure out how to get this knob. And usually these cheesy tuning condensers, they don't push on. They have a screw. So, and this one looks like it's no exception. Oh. Yes. This thing just keeps getting better. Check out how the plastic or the cardboard knockouts for the case are still just hanging there. And look at this sloppy ass excuse of whatever you want to call it. So take a look at this. I pulled the whole thing out of the case just to make it easier. Funny electronics. That's the model 818N, and look at this sloppy. They should have called it sloppy electronics. I'm almost tempted. I think what we do is start off by making sure the audio amp works. So we'll drive this into a speaker. This is sloppy. Those actually look like legit Motorola transistors. These transistors are the rectifiers. If you look at where the secondary comes out of the transformer, it goes in right there, and it actually looks like they also had it plumbed. See these holes here for some regular diodes. So it looks like it was set up so sloppy. So much crusty flux. Look at that. You can't even see where the traces go because the crust is so thick. You have to clean this off before we... Anyway, let me try and get the audio amp to work. We'll see if we could feed some tunes through it, and that'll give us an idea. Got our speaker hooked up. 6 volts hooked up. Let's see what happens here. Here we go. Nothing. No current draw, no pop from the... Try and do that again where you can see it. No current draw, no pop from the speaker, nothing. This could potentially be a problem right here. Maybe. I'll have to think about it. Yeah, I repaired that trace with a piece of silver Teflon wire here that exceeds the value of the radio. Yeah, let's see if what happens now. Oh. It's a little better. No pop from the speaker though, nothing. The musical selection is Love Sounds, and we're coming out of the phone. I could use a signal generator for this too, but you know, an audio signal generator, function generator. Coming out of here, one ground, one center, using this capacitor to isolate the center lead. That way I don't feed voltage back into the phone and fry it. This is a 16 microfarad. It really doesn't matter. Anything between, say, 1 and 10 is good. And I'm feeding into the volume control, and we have absolutely nothing, dead silence coming out here. I mean, it is totally quiet. So I'm feeding into the top of the volume control there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, we have this isolation capacitor right here. I'm going to start there because the phone should drive the speaker a little bit just by itself without the audio amp. We should be able to hear a little something. Okay, so this is the speaker right here. This is that capacitor right there. So obviously this capacitor is not open, so I'm going to try and get back. These are configured as two diodes. See how the base and the emitter are tied together? These are just two diodes. So this is just like biasing. So I want to try and get to this point right here, R14, whatever that is. Alright, so this and this are the audio output transistors. These are the two diodes. Well, the way they have them configured, and if you look, you can see one of the three leads is cut off on both of them. There's only two leads coming out of these, so we're getting absolutely nothing through the audio output transistors, like nothing. This is the emitter. Which ties directly to the capacitor to the speaker. This is the base. It's just nothing getting through these. Is there no voltage on them? You would think if there was no voltage, we'd have no current. We have 0.07 volts on the emitter. This is the NPN transistor, and we have, of course, 6.5 volts here. On the base, we have 0.1. It's not nearly enough to turn it on. And then here we have, that's the emitter, we have 0.06. So what is going on here? This circuit is a little bit, it's so simple, it's confusing. So where does this thing get its bias from? Right here through this resistor. I wonder if that capacitor was shorted and it was pulling the bias off the ground. Yeah, this is going to be a tough ass fix. This is that capacitor. This is the NPN. I think this is the PNP. Yeah, the metal transistor is this one. The more modern Motorola transistor is this one. So this is the NPN, this is the PNP. These are the two diodes. This is the driver. This right here is that, and then this is the pre-driver. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this capacitor, this transistor, and test them. This is more than yeah, but hell with it. Let's fix the damn thing. I want to see this happy times electronic company, very nice sunshine radio, very good work. All right, back to our, what was this? Funny electronics. I got disturbed and was pulled away for a few hours, which I never like, because then that breaks the meditative, concentrative focus factor on something like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull this transistor and that capacitor and test them with the M tester. I kind of lost track of where I was with myself to be with who I knew I was supposed to be. I remember in some radio video someone was telling me about changing a transistor. They're like, look at the number or something like that. And a lot of times on these Hong Kong throw together radios, they could just, whatever leftover transistors they could get that were F grade, that didn't make the pass the quality control test at the transistor factory or whatever. That's what's usually in these F grade transistors. And this one's testing good. Orange, orange, orange. And it's measuring 335 ohms, 0.335 K. So I guess it's orange, orange, brown. Well, we will never know if this was shorted because it fell apart when I was removing it. I replaced that with a brand new 4.7. I'm using a flashlight underneath it to follow the traces in combination with looking at a picture of the schematic. I want to check this R14. Okay, that R14 is reading 112 ohms. Alright, so I made a mistake here, and I'll show you what that is. I believe I'm trying to figure out how this thing gets bias, right? These transistors. And the whole time I was looking at the output side of the filter capacitor, I was thinking, well, this resistor and this is just feedback, right? But it's not. This resistor is bias, because this speaker goes from the positive to the output of the capacitor. So there should be positive voltage here. And on my test speaker, I have a capacitor that I have here just to protect the speaker. And this capacitor is blocking the battery voltage from the output of the capacitor, the positive side of this capacitor. Boy, man, that's riding the short bus again. So I just jumped my capacitor, and now it sounds like we have activity. Stupid mistake. About the fidelity you'd expect. It sounds like a telephone music on hold. It absolutely sounds like this should be a guitar pedal effect. I gotta say, I have never seen a circuit where it uses the speaker to provide power to bias the driver transistor, because the power comes like this. comes from here down through the speaker, over here, up, over here. That provides the power to this transistor and biasing this transistor. Oh, funny electronics company. All right, let's try and sort this out. There should be two coils here, a long and a short, or a high resistance and a low resistance. All right, these two measure 9.3 ohms. These two measure 1.6 ohms. That kind of sounds like activity.
Financial engines questions on his radio show. Let's hear his advice on annuities.
Hey Rick, I'm looking for a good investment.
Cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors, and walls. Clean Magic Eraser. Greatest invention ever. 눈물을 하시는 분들은 꼭 그것만 드세요. 꽤 많은 분들이 드시는.
Call 877-59 Optima. 877-59 New Life. No puedes tú refinanciar tu
as you can. And there's actually, you know, for the sake of time, I won't get into it too much, but there's actually some...
Goal is to declare Vegas is back as life returns to normal in the city following more than a year of restrictions.
And watching the other team kind of run away, they've got an opportunity to come out and visit us. So he happened to be here with Comic-Con. 그러나 성령에 오시면 orders here in Fishtown, so people are in and out of here all the time. Pero estamos complaciendo.
The tuning control is flaky.
Surgery. When I get people who come in who have had PRP or stem cells from North
1260. I'm going to glue this back on. I'm just going to put one little drop on it because if I need to get it off again. So what was wrong with it besides my stupidity of not knowing that it used the speaker as a B+ delivery device? Well, this was broken, and I don't know if this was bad, but I made it bad, and the antenna was off the circuit board. So we hooked the antenna up, wasted a lot of time, but it's working now. It seems to be working pretty sensitive. I need to spray the volume control.
I'm crazy. That's it. Fold. God is alive and vital.
I mean, there's nothing I want to listen to on it, which is...
Oh, this year with the, COVID taking front and center on the news and all.
This stupid tuning capacitor's bad. Yeah, but
open up and it's going to put a huge smile on their face. You're going to see a lot of thumbs up, a lot of
substantiation, where bread red and white. De veras especiales. ¿Qué tenemos acá?
For how crappy it is, it really doesn't sound bad. It's decent. It's actually decent for something made as a joke. I mean, it's basically a throwaway. It's pretty damn good.
Recently, while also criticizing vaccination efforts and restrictions on church gatherings related to COVID-19. 605 North of Telegraph Road, Santa Fe Springs, got a new crash there.
Don't dare question the mainstream story.